All right, let's do take two because the genius that I am actually started off with no audio on. I was actually muted here. So we'll get started and just kind of go into what we're going to be covering today. We'll start one more time fresh. It's Saturday, January 4th, and you're kicking it with kicks. This 2025, I'm hoping to stream up my stream frequency and finally hit my goal of 1,000 subs by the end of the year. So join me as I unbox some new toys, revisit some old favorites, stream my favorite video games, do interviews with community members in the toy collecting community, and also industry professionals in the gaming industry. So if you're into that type of stuff, this is definitely the channel for you. Today we are going to be unboxing the Funko Dr. Wily from their Mega Man line, and to be completely honest, these figures are not the best Mega Man toys. I'll just be straight up. They're completely overshadowed by companies and other styles like Jada Toys 4-inch Nell, the older D-Arts collection 3.0, and even the Kotobukiya, I think, model kits. But I don't think I've ever seen a Dr. Wily figure ever. So this will have to do. We're going to go right into it with the packaging because there isn't really much to see. But let's go ahead and do that. All right, so here he is in all his glory, the Dr. Wily action figure. And you can see on the packaging, standard cardboard backing with the Mega Man logo here, the classic Mega Man NES logo here. And then you also have a whole bunch of different sprites from the different Mega Man games in the past as a pattern there, which is kind of cool. You have the Dr. Wily text in 8-bit font with the action figure writing below. And then you have your figure of the Dr. Wily himself right in the center there. And he looks pretty faithful to his original NES design. And there's no special things on the bottom or the top or the sides because it's standard blister kind of packaging. So we could turn that to the back and you could see the Mega Man logo once again on the very back. You have the Mega Man sprites running across here, and then you have a couple renders of the other companions that he has in this collection over here. So, you could see as well how I was mentioning that, these aren't the best figures, I think, from not only just like the articulation and design perspective, but, just the way that they look. He looks nothing like the NES, renders of Mega Man, and I think it may be a little bit more on the cartoony or comic sort of design. But with the Dr. Wily, it is again the only Dr. Wily figure I think I've ever seen ever. I don't even know if there's any other figures out there that that have a representation of Dr. Wily. And another thing is that these are actually done by Funko. So Funko, of course, they are more into the figurines, like the Funko Pop kind of things. But so I thought this was interesting that they, actually created these guys over here. But we'll go ahead, and this will be a pretty quick review. So we'll go ahead and cut this guy open. If we can figure out the best way to get through, maybe through the bottom here. Let's go ahead. Just tear the cardboard open. Again, I'm not one for keeping the packaging, so no regard for that at all. Toss this to the side. And here's Dr. Wily fresh in the tray and looking pretty good so far. Let's go ahead and pop them out. And, pretty solid figure in terms of the way that he's built. Let's get up close there. And as mentioned, again, he looks very faithful to the way that he is in the NES series. So you got the crazy hair, the crazy eyebrows, the crazy stash. Balding. You can see how his hair kind of comes back up around there. And then he's in this lab coat, design with the tie and the standard blue pants and the brown shoes over here. So taking a look at the next would be, I guess we can get into the articulation because there are no accessories with this guy. Actually, he doesn't come with any, no additional heads, no additional hands. It would be nice if he came with, some tools or, even like a smaller, maybe like the Metul yellow helmet accessory or something like that off to the side, but unfortunately, nothing with this guy. This is all what you see is what you get. Let's go into the articulation of our buddy Dr. Wily here. So, taking a look at the head up close, you can swivel left and right because he is on a ball joint. There is a very, very slight head tilt up and down, not very much. Now, the arms are on these hinges here, so you could swing out that far and this far. And you could also rotate those shoulders. And then you have this little elbow joint where you can bend that forward. Not quite 90 degrees, but you can bend it forward. And then with the wrist joint, it is just a very simple swivel, no hinge in the wrist at all. I think it's maybe even on a ball joint. So, very slight movement on the wrist here. And then this hand, identical, just goes up that high, bends again less than 90 degrees at the elbow over here. But this hand is slightly different. Instead of the closed fist, you do have some type of gripping fist. So maybe if you want to have him, kind of reaching out like this, you can do that. Looking at the midsection and the top, is no ab crunch. There is no hip swivel. So very, very limited articulation. But the cape is a soft kind of plastic, soft rubbery kind of plastic over here. And then in terms of his legs, they come out that far. They go not too far back. And then he does have a little bit of a knee joint over here, but I'm going to say that that's probably already hindered by the coat. So let's go ahead and try and bend. See how far. That's the furthest he could bend back. And there's not a lot of swivel to that hip joint at all. And then with the shoes or the feet, literally no articulation at all. So very, very basic, nothing special with this figure, very limited articulation. In general, definitely more closer to a figurine than he is an action figure because you cannot get him into a lot of dynamic poses. But, I knew what I was getting in for when I picked this one up for sure. The main thing is that, there's a lot of Mega Man figures out there, but there are not a lot of villains. Only after Jada Toys, came out, and this came out prior to Jada Toys, did they start releasing the different robot masters. So I believe there's Iceman, Fireman, Eggman, and Cutman, I believe, are the first four that they released, with definitely more to come. And the Jada toys look absolutely incredible. Now, I won't be collecting the Jada toys because I know that Andrew, my other half of Toy Bacon, has been kind of going after the Jada toys Mega Man figures. So I'm going to leave that up to him. But otherwise, this is still a great pickup and a great addition to my Mega Man collection. Now, I think I mentioned earlier, for me, the definitive Mega Man action figure, in my personal opinion, is actually the 4-inch Nell, which came out a couple years ago. And I think that this is just the most, accurate and articulated version of Mega Man that we've ever seen before. A lot of people have been picking up again the Jada toys because the price point is incredible and the design is great. So the value overall is awesome. But when it comes down to articulation, the other Mega Man action figure that I picked up first actually was the D Arts Mega Man. That one comes with the Rush and Metul additional accessories, but the articulation isn't the best, and neither is the scale. He's a little tall. This guy is arguably a little small, and then when you put him next to Dr. Wily, he's definitely too small when you see them side by side. So, between the two, I'm going to say that this guy is definitely closer to Jada Toys. So I wanted to kind of pull that up as well. Just because, when it comes down to at least the price point of these two, I would say this Dr. Wily figure was closer to like that $10 or $15 price point, and a lot closer to Jada, which is, around the $25 to $30 price point. But the Jada toys, let me pull this up here. As you could see, he is, I believe, 4.5 inches tall. So let's actually pull this guy in real quick. and do a quick measurement of how, let's just get both of them on here, how tall this figure is when we put him on the stand. And he clocks in at about 5 inches when you measure him to the top of his hair over here. And I can pull this camera back a little bit so you can see. Yeah, so he's about 5 inches or 4 inches, 5 inches rather tall. Now looking at the Mega Man figure again, let's quickly pull up this window so we can see the actual size chart. So the Jada is 4.5 inches. So yeah, I would say that the Jada Toys is probably the best scaled action figure to go with this Dr. Wily that we have here on the side. Let's get a quick zoom in there as well so you can compare the two. Good thing about this Mega Man as well is, it does have better articulation than the Wily, but I would say, from a height perspective, much closer in scale from a height perspective. He does have the smirking face and then that angry face. You have the option to, switch out his arm and go with, the Mega Buster or with the open hand. And then he also does come with this Mega Buster shot and clear stand to put these action shots. Now he can also get into this like lower sort of slide pose, which is kind of cool. And then you can see the full list of accessories and things that he comes with over here. So here's again the changing of the two different heads, the smirk versus the um, I guess like clenching kind of face. You have the two different hands to swap out with the closed fists. You have the Mega Buster, and then again these two clear plastic pieces to top put with the Mega Buster shot over here. So this is definitely a really great figure for people that are on a budget and just looking to build a Mega Man collection right now. Jada Toys is also killing it in the Street Fighter game and some of the other figures that they release. So definitely keep an eye out on those. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about was not just Mega Man, but I actually want to do a head swap with this figure here because um, he definitely has the Toon sort of look, and he is very accurate to the Mega Man game. But one thing that I thought that I would do for fun is do a head swap with a character that not a lot of people know, and including myself, which would be Eggman. So Eggman is one of the villains from Marvel Legends, but if you look at both these figures, they have some similarities when it comes down to the body. The white lab coat, the instead of the solid red tie over here, he has a black and red striped tie, but they both have blue pants. I understand they're definitely different in tone, but I thought that I would try in future to pop off the Wily head and put him actually um, on the Eggman body, and then maybe that would scale a little bit better with the D Arts figure. I did mention the D Arts Mega Man figure is a little bit taller, so at least if I was wanted to come up with a more true 12 scale comparison and have Mega Man, around other 6-inch figures that are supposed to be 12 scale and more humanoid, then I think that I would try doing a head swap on this. Now it might look a little goofy, but it's just something that I haven't really seen before, so may as well kind of try that to kind of see if I can get more value out of the figures. This non-articulated Wily body and the articulated Eggman body. So very very similar. Again, you could see with the brown, even with the brown shoes, and a couple of interchangeable hands there as well. So this is from the Ant-Man wave, and we will go ahead and revisit those in future. But that was, I think, pretty much it. I know that I mentioned, I'm going to try and increase the stream frequency moving forward, and probably doing a lot of these shorter streams. And the reason why I want to do these shorter streams is just to kind of capture the content of actually unboxing my figures, and then from there, I'll probably work to chop these up into reels and shorts to just kind of get more quick and short views, and use this opportunity just to kind of capture the raw content of the unboxing, and then maybe hang out with whoever else may be joining the stream at any given time. But in any case, as I mentioned, trying to stream daily if possible. I might start even batching some of the videos so that I can, record them on the weekends and release them episodically throughout the week. But as mentioned, if you're looking into unboxing, if you're looking into revisiting some old but awesome action figures, if you're into seeing retro games and Super Smash Brothers and other types of games being streamed, as well as seeing interviews with members of the toy collecting community and the gaming industry, then this is definitely the channel for you. But until next time, we will see you later.
Peace.